All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to walk through how to solve our Part B, or determining mass calculation. So here's my problem, and I'm going to just go ahead and pull up this, and I'm going to write down my problem on my sheet here. So an unknown mass of aluminum at 112 degrees Celsius, and I know that that's a temperature of aluminum, and probably the initial temperature, is placed into um, 11 liters, or 11 kilograms of water. So that's my mass of the water and the temperature of that water is 10 degrees Celsius. So there's my temperature initial of the water. The final temperature, they tell me, will be 45 degrees Celsius. So that's my temperature final. Determine the mass of the aluminum. So that's my mass of the aluminum is my unknown. Specific heat capacity, CP of water, is this one. And the CP of aluminum is this one. So known values, I got the mass of the water is 11 kilograms. I've got the temperature initial of water is 10 degrees Celsius. I've got the specific heat of water is 4184 joules per kilogram degrees Celsius. The mass of the aluminum is my unknown, but I do know the temperature initial of the aluminum is 112 degrees Celsius. I do know the specific heat of aluminum is 900 joules per kilogram degrees Celsius. And I also know the temperature final is 45 degrees Celsius. So what equations can I use for this? Well, I'm going to use Q equals mc p delta T. And I know that the Q of the aluminum will be equal to the Q of the water. So combining those two, I'm going to come up with the mass of the aluminum times the specific heat capacity of the aluminum times the change in temperature of the aluminum equals the mass of the water times the specific heat capacity of the water times the change in temperature of the water. Plugging in, I don't know the mass of aluminum. Let me change colors here. I don't know the mass of aluminum, but I do know its specific heat capacity. And I do know the change in temperature. Change in temperature for aluminum is it goes from 112 down to 45. So that is a difference of 55, 65, 67 degrees Celsius. And the mass of the water is 11 kilograms. And the specific heat of water is 4,184 joules per kilogram degrees Celsius. And the change in temperature for water is it went from 10 degrees to 45 degrees, 10 to 45. So 45 minus 10 is 35 degrees Celsius. All right, now all we got to do is the math. So order of operations, no parentheses, no exponents, multiplication. 900 times 67, which we all know is, what is 900? 660,300 times the mass of aluminum still, and the degrees Celsius cancel, so that's joules per kilogram. And then I'm going to do 11 times 4184 times 35, which gives me 1610840. And the degrees Celsius cancels, the kilograms cancel, so that is joules. And to get our final answer, we're just going to divide both sides by 60,300 joules per kilogram. The joules will cancel out. Those cancel out, leaves me with the mass of aluminum is